Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us again today in the O'9 Tales series. We've already been treated in the series to 9 Cork poets reading their own works. Next came Shakespeare, and then we were treated to Yeats. Today we share another strand in the series. But before we begin, I'd like to tell you how this strand came about. Back in January 2021, when we started out to create this series as a gift for the Cork Arts Theatre, we began by inviting people to send us the titles of their favourite poems. Perhaps the poems they read during the pandemic, or poems that they read again and again. Poems that they hold dear. We then asked people who had sent in the titles of their favourite poems, would they be willing to self-tape? We wanted them to either record themselves to video or audio reading their favourite poem. Within weeks, recordings began to come in. It was lovely to see and hear the personal connections people had with their choices. Many shared their reasons for choosing their favourite poem. Soon it was evident that we had collections of 5 different themed strands. 5 strands of favourite poems chosen and self-recorded by the readers. All unique and all lovely. This first of the 5 strands is called Remembrance and Reflection. Indeed, we've had plenty of time in recent months to remember and reflect. We invite you now to take a moment to reflect a while and enjoy the words of 9 poets being read by another 9 friends of the Cork Arts Theatre in our O'9 Tales series. Enjoy.
Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep. Oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? 'Tis 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 'tis
I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert, and near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed." And on the pedestal these words appear: "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand, nor I half turn to go, yet turning stay. Remember me when no more day by day you tell me of our future that you planned. Only remember me. You understand it will be late to counsel then or pray. Yet if you should forget me for a while, and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave a vestige of the thoughts that once I had, better by far you should forget and smile, than that you should remember and be sad.
Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone. Silence the piano and with muffled drum bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let the aeroplane circle mourning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, he is dead. But crepe bows round the white necks of the public doves, let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest. My noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out everyone. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good.
Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun. Under my window, a clean, rasping sound when the spade sinks into gravelly ground. My father, digging. I look down till his straining rump among the flower beds bends low, comes up 20 years away, stooping in rhythm through potato drills, where he was digging. The coarse boot nestled on the lug, the shaft against the inside knee was levered firmly. He rooted out tall tops, buried the bright edge deep to scatter new potatoes that we picked, loving their cool hardness in our hands. By God, the old man could handle a spade. Just like his old man. My grandfather cut more turf in a day than any other man on Toner's bog. Once I carried him milk in a bottle corked sloppily with paper. He straightened up to drink it, then fell to right away, nicking and slicing neatly, heaving sods over his shoulder, going down and down for the good turf. Digging. The cold smell of potato mould, the squelch and slap of soggy peat, the curt cuts of an edge through living roots awaken in my head. But I've no spade to follow men like them. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests. I'll dig with it.
When all the others were away at Mass, I was all hers as we peeled potatoes. They broke the silence, let fall one by one, like solder weeping off the soldering iron. Cold comfort set between us, things to share, gleaming in a bucket of clean water. And again let fall. Little pleasant splashes from each other's work would bring us to our senses. So while the parish priest at her bedside went hammer and tongs at the prayers for the dying, and some were responding and some crying, I remembered her head bent towards my head, her breath in mine, our fluent dipping knives, never closer the whole rest of our lives. In the last minutes, he said more to her almost than all of their lives. You'll be in the new row on Monday night, and I'll come up for you, and you'll be glad when I walk in the door. Isn't that right? His head was bent down to her propped head. She could not hear, but we were overjoyed. He called her good and girl. Then she was dead. The searching for a pulse beat was abandoned, and we all knew one thing by being there. The space we stood around had been emptied into us to keep. It penetrated. Clearances that suddenly stood open. High cries were felled, and a pure change happened. Thank you.
O stony grey soil of Monaghan, the laugh for my love you thieved. You took the gay child of my passion and gave me your clod conceived. You clogged the feet of my boyhood, and I believed my stumble had the poise and stride of Apollo, and his voice my thick-tongued mumble. You told me the plough was immortal, O green life conquering plough. The mandrel stains your coulter blunted in the smooth leaf field of my brow. You sang on steaming dunghills a song of cowards' brood. You perfumed my clothes with weasel itch. You fed me on swinish food. You flung a ditch on my vision of beauty, love, and truth. O stony grey soil of Monaghan, you burgled my bank of youth. Lost the long hours of pleasure, all the women that love young men. Oh, can I still stroke the monster's back, or write with unpoisoned pen his name in these lonely verses, or mention the dark fields where the first gay flight of my lyric got caught in a peasant's prayer? Malahincha Drumarel Black Shanko, wherever I turn I see, in the stony grey soil of Monaghan, dead loves that were born for me.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labour and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only tulle. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity.
He was no longer my father, but I was still his son. I would get to grips with that cold paradox. The remote figure in his Sunday best who was buried the next day. A great day for tears. Snifters of sherry, whiskey, beef sandwiches, tea. An old mate of his recounting their day excursion to Youghal in the 30s. How he was his first partner on the Cork Skibbereen route in the late 40s. There was a splay of mass cards on the sitting room mantelpiece, which formed a crescent round a glass vase, a retirement present from CIE. I didn't realise till 2 days later it was the mirror took his breath away. The monstrous old Victorian mirror with the ornate gilt frame we had found in the 3-storey house when we moved in from the country. I was afraid that it would sneak down from the wall and swallow me up in one gulp in the middle of the night. While he was decorating the bedroom, he had taken down the mirror without asking for help. Soon he turned the colour of terracotta, and his heart broke that night. There was nothing for it but to set about finishing, papering over the cracks, painting the high windows, stripping the door like the door of a crypt. When I took hold of the mirror, I had a fright. I imagined him breathing through it. I heard him say in a reassuring whisper, "I'll give you a hand there." And we lifted the mirror back in position above the fireplace, my father holding it steady, while I drove home the 2 nails.